I plan and got approved for the Capital One Venture X the very first day it came out. And today, I've earned over 350,000 plus miles. This card's annual fee is officially $395, yet it's effectively zero, as we'll cover shortly. This is why it's one of my favorite premium travel credit cards and an easy option to consider to be a part of your credit card setup. I'll share my experience as someone who has other high annual fee credit cards. And yes, the benefits do indeed overlap between these type of cards. And if this isn't you, that's okay, because I'll give you what you need to know from my hands-on experience to make that decision between other card options you may have on the roster. Feel free to navigate with the timestamps below, as first we'll cover everything you need to know about the Capital One Venture X, and then I'll get into my personal experience of how I've been able to take advantage of the benefits it has to offer. Starting off with the sign-up bonus, we're looking at 75,000 miles after $4,000 in minimum spend in the first 3 months. These miles can be redeemed in numerous ways, and 75k miles can definitely give you at least $750 towards travel. If you consider transferring them to airlines or hotels or transfer partners in general, you can definitely be looking at getting a lot more than that $750 in value. Coming to the earn rate, it's super straightforward. You're basically going to get 10x on spend for hotels and rental cars through the Capital One travel portal. And if you book flights through that same travel portal, you're looking at 5x miles earned per dollar spent. And on everything else, you're looking at 2x miles earned. Moving on to the benefits, the first one we have is the fact that each and every year after you pay your annual fee, you get a deposit of 10,000 miles added to your miles account. These 10,000 miles can again be redeemed for, let's say, $100 towards travel or otherwise, depending on your redemptions. Further, you get a $300 travel credit, which can only be used on the Capital One travel portal. Although it can only be used there, this credit is pretty flexible in terms of the availability of how you can redeem it, whether that's towards flights, hotels, or rental cars, and potentially other products they may have to offer in the future, maybe cruises, for example. From there, you get a $100 credit for TSA pre-check or global entry, and you have lounge access, which comes in 2 different verticals. One is going to be access to 1,400 plus lounges known as the Priority Pass network, and apart from that, you have 3 lounges apart from Capital One, which are open at IAD, the Dallas Fort Worth Airport, and Denver. This next benefit wasn't there a year ago, and it's been more recently introduced, and it's something known as the Premier Collection. At certain properties, you got $100 experience credit, daily breakfast for 2, and other premium benefits. And when you make your bookings, as you'll make them through the Capital One travel portal, you'd be earning 10x miles on those bookings as well. Although the benefits aren't specifically the same, when it comes to the Amex Platinum, they have something known as FHR, which is Fine Hotels and Resorts. And on the Chase Sapphire Reserve side, they have LHR, which is Luxury Hotels and Resorts. Next, you have no foreign transaction fees. And finally, you get Hertz's President Circle status, which is their highest level tier of loyalty status, which will unlock upgrades, a higher earning rate, and other benefits a part of their program. Starting off with my personal analysis and what I'm thinking about the Capital One Venture X after 2 years, here's how it looks like. 10x on hotels and rental cars, it's pretty sweet. And I would say first coming to rental cars, I don't rent too often. Like I'm talking once in a year or twice in a year. So at that point, 10x miles is just a good way to say, hey, I got a decent discount on that car rental. Last year, definitely I took more advantage of this Hertz President Circle status where I was getting upgrades to cars that I've never driven before. And it was actually a very beautiful and awesome experience. Coming to hotels, I'm huge on loyalty status, and a lot of the big chain brands, whether it's Hilton, Marriott, and otherwise, if you do a booking through an OTA, an online travel agency, such as the Capital One travel portal or Expedia or Booking.com, basically not going through their site, they don't really honor your status. And they actually are very adamant about not honoring it when you do check in. A potential hack that I noticed that may not always work all the time, so your mileage may vary, is that when you actually book a hotel, let's say it's a 2-night stay, and I've done this personally, is that you do one booking, let's say on the Capital One travel portal, and then one directly through the site. But when you go check in, you can tell them, hey, can you combine these 2 reservations? And they may say something about, hey, this booking was made otherwise, but, just play the game, and basically they can combine both. So you're still getting your loyalty points, loyalty status, elite credits, all that good stuff. So just something I noticed that could work well in this regard. The 5x on flights, to me personally, it's pretty immaterial, but that's really because the Capital One Venture X gives you 5x miles on bookings for flights to their portal. But with the Chase Sapphire Reserve or the Preferred or even the no annual fee versions of the Freedom Unlimited or the Freedom Flex, if you go through their portal, you're getting 5x points on flights booked through them as well. Given this and me valuing membership reward points, I usually do my bookings with the Amex Platinum where you get 5x membership reward points per dollar spent. So that's just how I've been functioning. But this point is still good if the Capital One Venture X is the only card you have, but otherwise it's kind of like on par par with all the other competitors that are there in the industry. Over the last couple of years, I've booked a few flights on the Capital One travel portal, and that's very specific because of that $300 credit they give you towards travel to be used for bookings on the Capital One travel portal, whether that's for flights, hotels, or rental cars. An interesting thing I noticed is that they actually advertise saying, hey, if this price flight drops in X amount of time, then we'll basically match that price or give you a credit. And I was like, all right, cool, nice advertising. But it actually happened in this situation, and it was like a $60 flight. But the thing is, I guess it fell to 45. So I got an automated email saying, hey, we're crediting back $15 to you because of this price flight difference. So the cool part there is there was no action from my side. It was totally automated in the back end. My favorite part about this card, interestingly, is just the fact that it has 2x miles per dollar spent. So it's a really, really strong catch-all category card, especially given the fact that, yes, you can have a 2% cashback earning card, but with 2x miles per dollar spent, there's a lot more flexibility in how those points can be redeemed from my side. An extremely good example is that the miles earned with the Capital One Venture X, there's a specific partner, Air France and KLM, a part of the Flying Blue program. And this program actually is mutually shared, whether it's by Chase, American Express, and others. Like this, earlier in this video, I was actually in Amsterdam on the way to India, and now I'm in India. And I know I'm probably sweating on camera and all these things, but anyways, let's keep it going. I know I said the 2x miles was my favorite part, but actually the fact that you can get authorized users for free with the Capital One Venture X is exactly how I gave myself and my entire family authorized user access. But more importantly, what that comes with is then priority pass access. And this matters because if I want priority pass access for anyone else, whether I have the Amex Platinum or the Chase Sapphire Reserve, I have to pay an additional fee for an authorized user. And then that can be that much more depending how many authorized users I want. There have been a lot of changes to a lot of cards in the market of recent. And I hope that this benefit specifically doesn't change with the Capital One Venture X because it's actually that valuable. The Capital One Venture X's priority pass access, it's similar to the Amex Platinum, yet the power of the Chase Sapphire Reserves priority pass access is that you get a credit towards spend at certain priority pass lounges towards actual restaurants. And so like this, although it's not as good as that, the fact that you at least get that base access to lounges in general, regardless of how we all think that lounges are and how the value has been decreasing over the years of priority pass lounges and the whole network as a whole, is still something better than nothing. The 10,000 miles anniversary bonus, where we get that after paying the annual fee each and every year, basically mathematically of $395 annual fee, and then getting that $300 credit, and let's just say all else equal, we get full value of that credit, then basically at $100 left over with us getting 10,000 miles, which is equivalent to $100 on the Capital One travel portal, you're basically getting $5 quote unquote back in your pocket. To me, it's like a no annual fee card because if you're traveling at least, let's say once or maybe twice a year, you can definitely take advantage of the credits and break even very, very easily with this card. 3 quick bullets of what I'm looking forward to with the Capital One Venture X. The first is there's something known as the Cultivist. It's a benefit that comes with the Capital One Venture X where you get access to museums, and I don't frequent them too often, but it'd be something nice to check out when I do for a different experience from just the day-to-day. From there, similar to the Amex Centurion Lounge Network, I would say that the Capital One Lounge Network is also growing and it will grow over time. So with that, just holding this card and assuming not a lot of benefits change and all that good stuff, hopefully we'll get to see more as the years progress. After 2 years, the Capital One Venture X has been pretty dope, and I would say that the Amex Platinum and the Chase Sapphire Reserve are definitely the competitors for this card, and I'll leave both videos here and here. And with that, I'll see you soon enough. Thanks for coming to the end.